Hi everyone, my name's Victoria McTaggart. I am your online lecturer for EDAR 500 and EDAR 560 for the next 12 weeks. So welcome to this subject. It is quite a dynamic subject. I know it can be a bit hairy, I guess, online, but I'm going to get you guys to do quite a lot of praxis-based exploration. And of course, the very first component of the arts that we are going to be looking at are the visual arts and the media arts. You have got an assessment based on the visual arts and the media arts, which I will be going through today, as well as your first assignment. So the visual arts and media arts product is your second assignment. As well as drama, but I will talk about the drama component next week. But for today, we will concentrate on the visual arts and media arts. Yes, we have got 3 weeks of visual arts and media arts. So I would like you to come prepared to these tutorials. If you are watching them online, the recorded version, like you are now, then make sure you have got those items, those resources. Remember too, time management is a virtue. So you do need to have, you need to allocate some time where you can have a look at the recordings, the tutorial recordings, and explore the praxis-based tasks, okay, for your own record. Now, you will be able to use some of these, you will be able to use all of them in the classroom, of course, but based on your assignment, the product-based assignment, you may choose one of these techniques. Okay, so let's firstly have a look at the Leo site. Online learning can be, is very different from on campus, as you know. So it can, if you have got any queries, then please do not hesitate to email me. I will envisage replying to you within 48 hours, if not 24 hours. So that's if you have any queries at all. We do also have a discussion forum. So if you have a generic question that you think, okay, well, maybe my colleagues online can help me with that one, as well as myself, then post it online if you think it's something that could be answered by your peers, or you think your peers, your colleagues could be interested in. Now, I do understand a lot of you are working during the day. The times that have been allocated, the time that has been allocated is 5:30 to 8 p.m. Now, our tutorials probably won't go up until 8 p.m. because it is quite a long time. It just depends on what exploration we are doing that night. Or within that tutorial, I should say. So let's get on with it. This is the Leo site, and I'm just going to have a look and make sure this has been shared. Yes, it has been. Okay, so the Leo site, our national lecturer in charge is Joanne Harris, and we are following almost the same format as the on-campus tutorials. So although we are based online, we have got Ballarat, Canberra, Melbourne, Strathfield, who are doing this on campus. There is only one assessment task that has been changed to cater for online learning. Otherwise, the assessment tasks are the same. Okay, so as you can see, we have got the homepage here. So this has got all our tiles in it. So if we have a look down here, we've got the information resources, which you can find you won't find the unit outline, our unit outline online. Where you will find the unit outline for online learning will be on our online tile. And as you can see, I've put a different picture on there, so it's easy for you to just click on. So this is our online tile. This is our go-to, okay? If we have a look at it, just has some information. Oh, it does have some information about me on there. I don't know what's happened here. Hang on a moment. I'll get this off. Oh gosh, there's always a glitch. Okay, that's gone. All right, so I'll just make sure this is sharing. Yep. Okay, so as you can see, my email address is there. Please do not hesitate to get in contact with me because I'm here to support you. Okay, now, yeah, the schedule is Monday, 5:30 p.m. Zoom tutorial. The hyperlink will be put on to the site, the tile. So you will always have the hyperlink here for that time. Now, I am aware of daylight savings that will be coming in a couple of months' time for the people who are in Melbourne and down south. Okay, I'm based in Brisbane myself. Unfortunately, 5:30 will have to be the time that we do start because there seems to be a overall consensus from the cohort that this is a suitable time. I do understand that some people cannot make that time because they have work commitments. And I do understand that, you know, home life and other tutorials may clash with this, but this is the only time that will be available. Every tutorial will be recorded, so please do not stress or worry about this. You will not miss out on any of the content. And like I said, I am only an email away if you do have any queries. So I will try to, I will make sure that I am explaining the tasks really thoroughly. Okay, so let's get back a little bit here. Let's go back to the home page. So you have got Joanne Harris's information within the information and resources. You have got information on the text. So if you would like to source that text, you can source it through the library. Or you can buy it. It is a really good text to have on hand and have as a resource within your classroom. Assessment tasks are here, but I will be going through them on these recorded tutorials. So if you would like to go back to the tutorials, you can fast forward, pause, whatever, and just listen to the assessment task requirement. Within the lecture, I think Joanne goes through some of the assessment tasks, but please make sure that you are watching the lectures, okay? What else? Our first lecture is the introductions to the importance of the arts in the curriculum. Make sure you do have a look at those lectures. Make sure you do get across that, and then make sure you do the booklet. So if we go into visual arts and media arts, for instance, which is our first 3 weeks of this unit, and this is your go-to tile, you will see that there is a lecture on here. Okay, and this is the little booklet. So navigating the little booklet, simply press on the booklet and go through the key questions. There is some supporting resources there. You have got the lecture itself here, so make sure you have a look at that. You can download the lecture for, you know, your own resource on your computer, and you can have a look at it. Make sure, though, I am really strongly suggesting that you do allocate some time towards this, though. You need to. Otherwise, you know, doing this all in the last, you know, the last 6 weeks or whatever is not going to, or last 12 weeks is not going to be a good idea for you. Okay, so it does go through different questions, answer those questions, and so on. Okay, so I won't go right through the book, but you have got lots of, you know, different components to the booklet to have a look at. So these are the lecture slides, sorry, this one, so download that lecture. Okay, and the other video was theory based. Okay, again, lots and lots and lots of information for you guys. Okay, so So, and really interesting stuff. So, you know, even if you play these while you're, you know, cooking or whatever, or you know, having a spare moment or whatever in your lives, then make sure you do watch them. Cooking's not a spare moment, but I tend to watch a lot of these content lectures when I am, you know, cutting up onions or whatever, you know, like that. Just be aware that you do have to watch them. Okay, so then I'm just going to take you back to the main page. Whoop. Okay, what have I done here? We'll go back to the home page. Come on, home page. Okay, and then you will see all the different tiles here. So dance, drama, music. So we are going, if you have a look at the unit outline, you will see a bit of an itinerary. So the first 3 weeks, 1 to 3, is visual arts and media arts. The next 3 weeks is drama. So let's concentrate on that first off before you get too overwhelmed with everything. Okay, oh, why is this happening? Okay. All right, so let's get into our first slide. Now, please pause me at any stage to, you know, create. So do the praxis based. I'll get you on your way, and then you can pause me, okay, and do it at your own pace. All right, so tutorial 1. Oh, actually, we'll go into this one first. We'll go into this tutorial. Where am I? Okay, bear with me. Okay, I'm just going to pause you for a sec. Okay, so let's go through the arts making task, because this one is going to be due first. Okay, actually, what I will do is I'll get the unit outline up first. Okay, I have the unit outline here from the online tile. As you can see, Joanne Harris's name there and email address, and then there's, of course, mine. You go through the rationale. Yeah, I'm not going to read all this information. I'll leave that up to you. Go through the graduate attributes, Australian professional standards, of course. But what I want to get down to is the assessment tasks, so you can have a little look at them, and the dates, okay? Because one assessment, there's the itinerary. So if you go into that unit outline or print that unit outline out, then highlight those, because we start off, like I said, with visual arts, media arts, drama, and then dance and music. Okay, let's have a look. At the end, I'll go through attendance requirements, okay? So, of course, you do have a hurdle task, which is the attendance. It's a little bit different for us online, because if there are clashes, if there are, you know, circumstances beyond your control, of course, I do want you to do the tasks online, but you know, it's not necessary to do the makeup task, okay? Because the makeup task are those notes that you would be taking anyway. Okay, and you know, sometimes things are out of our control. You know, online is a lot different than on campus. Okay, assessment task 1. I just want you to note this. Assessment task 1, the rationale and arts learning framework analysis. That's the written reflection on the role of the arts in education, the education of young children and primary children. That entails a description of the ways in which young children engage and respond to the arts. Just make sure that's recording. Yep. Including an exploration of its role in developing imagination and creativity and supporting the developmental learning areas. You know, the role of play within learning within the arts. You must include a rationale for the arts in young children's education. There is a detailed explanation of this as you go down into the unit, into the unit outline. It's a good idea to have a look at this. I will go through this a little bit further next week. Also to have a look on the assessment tile and have a look for assessment 1, because there will be the rubrics, and it's always a good idea to print out the rubrics or have that on hand so you can tick off that you actually are adhering to what is being expected. But that one is due on the 20th of August. So, but there is something that I do want to bring to your attention, because it's the second assignment, the first part of the second assignment. So part A, media arts, visual arts, which we need to get onto ASAP, because as you can see, the date for this is the 13th of August. So that will be coming up pretty quickly. So what I envisage, I will be putting you into either groups of 3 or 4 to work on this assignment, okay? Because this is a group assessment. This part is a group assessment. So, yeah, I will be sending you out emails with details of your group members and their emails, so you can start to get in contact with them. Okay, and that will happen tomorrow. I am, hoping that I get those groups out tomorrow. If not, it will be, by Friday anyway, where you will be able to get in contact with those other group members. Now, if you are having trouble getting in contact with your group members, or something's happening there that, maybe someone has opted out of this subject, then please let me know. I will have a look at Allocate anyway and make sure that I have the latest enrolment. But and I have got the latest enrolment as of last night, so hopefully this stays put. But there's always people that end up for different reasons dropping out of this subjects. So if that happens and one of your group members or 2 of your group members can't be contacted, or they've told you that they're thinking of dropping out of this subject, then please inform me. Email me ASAP, and I will arrange other groups. I think it's the best way to go if I arrange the groups, unless you work with someone, or say you see someone on a daily basis who you think you would work well with. Okay, so please inform me of that too via email. But take note of the date. Okay, so 13th of August. So this one's actually due before your assessment 1. Okay, so this is part A, the media arts and visual arts component of the second assignment. I know that can be a little bit confusing, but and we'll go into part B, which is due in the 3rd of September, as we get into drama. And I'll just like I said, I'll give you a bit of an overview next week anyway. Okay, so let's get into the having a look at that group assignment first off, and then we'll get into our praxis-based exploration. Okie dokie. All right, so assessment 1, it is worth the assessment 1 is worth 25%, and due week 4, and then assessment 2 is due week 3. So assessment 2 part A is due week 3. Okay, and of course you've got the hurdle task, but a little bit different online. Okay, so I'm going to skip over that assessment 1 first off and go down to your group. Okay, so in small groups and you're going to do this collaboratively, you must develop and present an arts making product relevant to the early years or primary. Okay, so F to 6 curriculum. You must demonstrate knowledge and understanding of the constructs of the arts curriculum, understanding of how children engage in the arts knowledge of a range of resources, including digital resources for engaging diverse students in their learning in the arts education. Okay, so I will form those groups of 3 to 4 people. You are going to choose a theme. We have got, I'll go through those themes. Each member of the group is to design a making product that focuses on the same theme or topic. These making products must demonstrate an integration of both media and visual art skills. Okay, so the themes you can choose from. We have a range of themes. Who am I? My family, pets, feelings, emotions, home, the environment, parks, birthdays, events, fictional, fantasy, native, sea life, the zoo, nature, toys. You know, there's a whole lot. There's a list here. Friendship, relationships, sustainability, natural landscapes. You decide. So whatever you make needs to integrate both media arts and those skills in visual arts. Okay, so consider the list below in your planning. So in the media arts isn't just about technology. Media arts, it could be television, photography, radio podcasts, posters, video games, electronics, print media, computers, internet, brochures, just about anything in the media arts. Visual arts, of course, you've got a number of techniques and conventions that you can go through: drawing, painting, ceramic sculpture, digital forms, printmaking, and photography, fibre. So your product should explore and illustrate your feelings, thoughts, and understanding of the topic selected. Each product needs to include an original element within its design. And I'll go through those elements when we get into the praxis-based tutorial. It is recommended that students sign up for a free online. So Canva is free online, but you know, whether you do it in PowerPoint or whatever, it is purely up to you. Prezi, whatever platform, as long as I have got access to it so I can mark it, then all good. Okay. So just a little note here from the arts lecturer. Canva allows you to upload photographs, images, audio, and film you have taken yourself. It also allows members to share designs with each other, which will be helpful as you collaborate with your group. So if that's you know, if that's a format that you want to use, then, and it is highly recommended here, then so be it. Okay. So submission, there will be a Dropbox on the on our Leo site for you, but I will show you that Dropbox in the next couple of weeks, so you know exactly where you have to put that submission. Okay. So yeah, this will be submitted as one file per group, but you must ensure that you have labeled that assignment, okay, for your group members. So you must write down first names and last names and your student numbers on that submission. All right. Okay. So we'll go through the elements and principles of arts first. I did want to show you a bit of an example of the assignment. There is an example of the assignment in the assessment tile. I'm just going to quickly go through this. I'm not quite sure whether it's at the end. No, doesn't look like it. Okay. Go back up. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Okay. Okay, so within the assessment tile, if you go to assessment 2 and have a look at the details, the visual arts, media arts details, you'll come up with this document. So have a good look at this. So this actually goes through a bit more of an outline for you on what is expected of the arts making product, and it shows you an example, okay, a sample. So, of course, you have to demonstrate the knowledge and understanding of the constructs of Australian curriculum. I'll just buzz down here because I've already talked about this. Oh, okay. It isn't there. All right. Okay, so the sample is yet to be uploaded, so I'll show you that next week. I will get into assessment 1 now. I know I've sort of done it skew if and a bit back to front, but I do want you to be aware that that part A of the second assignment is due before assessment 1. So you're going to have to be working on both, one's individual and one's group. So you do have to work on your part of the group assignment and consult with your group members. So I just want to talk about assessment 1 now. So it is, you are writing an outline of the content and structure of the Australian Primary Creative Arts curriculum. Including an overview of the content and the relationship between the interrelated strands. Okay, so that's making and responding. And always in the arts, we make and we respond. So you are going to include a rationale for the arts in children's education. So the assessment consists of 2 parts. A critical reflection on the importance of the arts in education, in children's education. Now, if you need to go to academic skills and refresh on what a critical reflection is, then please do so. We have got a number of avenues you can go down which will support you in your writing. And that will, your first protocol would be the academic skills page. Okay, so the second part is knowledge and understanding of the arts curriculum. So go to the Australian curriculum, have a look at the ELF document. You are going to be using a template, which I will show you in a moment. You should incorporate, of course, you're going to incorporate current literature. And I highly recommend that you do go to the unit outline and have a look at the recommended readings, okay, as well as your text. Don't just simply go and Google and make your life harder. Have a look at the recommended text and source those. And you can source those from our ACU library, and you can gain access to them online. Okay, you will be using the APA 7th edition referencing, of course. This is the rationale. This is the template you're going to use. So it is 1,000 words. The first part is the rationale for the arts in education. So that's worth 7 marks. And then the second part is the analysis of the Australian curriculum. So all pretty straightforward. It is written there. The directions for this template. So the first part, critical reflect on the importance, of course, individuals and society, and of the benefits of the arts to individuals and society. And there's a hell of a lot of research out there. Your reflection must provide a rationale for the place of the arts in children's education. So why are the arts important in children's lives and in children's learning? And why is the arts included in their education? Okay. Your arguments must be supported by references, of course, and use the set readings. I can't stress that enough. They're all there. The work has been done. The recommended readings also on the unit outline. And then you've got the analysis of the Australian curriculum, F to 6 in the arts. Okay, so so you will be looking at the band, content descriptors, elaborations, Australian standards, and general capabilities. So go on to the Australian curriculum website, have a look at the document, go to the arts. I'll share with you, if some people just don't know where to go, I'll just give you a quick, let me see, hopefully I can do this. just bear with me. And you can't tell me if it's not coming up. I'll just go back and forth. So if you type in Australian curriculum, the arts, you will come to this page. You click it on. I'll just make sure this is sharing. Yep. And then you will see every discipline here. Go to go to each section, have a good look. Yeah, it's all there for you. So just say I'll bring up visual arts. So if I go into foundation to year 2, submit, it will bring me up the band description. You've got the content descriptions, you've got the achievement standards. If we go into these, you've got so many you've got the content descriptors here. So drop boxes, elaborations here. Excuse me, and then you've got the learning achievement standards. So by the end of year 2, students describe artworks they make and those to which they respond. They consider where and why people make artworks. Students use the elements and processes of art subjects to make and share artworks that represent ideas. Okay, and there's quite a number of different content descriptors, such as use and experiment with different materials, techniques, technologies, create and display artworks, explore ideas, experiences, observations, and imagination. Now, within our praxis-based learning, within the tutorial, I will be showing you how our creating, so our activities are connected to the Australian curriculum, okay, and what their relevance is. Now, I'm going to go back to, oops, stop it. Okay, I'm going to go back to this and make sure it's sharing. Yep. Just really aware of it not sharing sometimes. Okay. Okay. So references, there's a whole list of references you can use. So the Australian curriculum and relevant state and territory texts. So if you're in Queensland, then you can use, Queensland documents. If you're in Victoria, Victorian documents, and so on, okay? Different states and territories, because I know we're all over Australia in this online platform. Okay, and there's a little bit more about, that's what we've been through with assessment 2. So this can be found on the assessment tile, okay? This information, and it can be and it can be found in the arts tile. Okay, so let's get started. I've talked enough. Let's get creative. Oh, stop it. It's the only thing with this just keeps on dropping down. Oh no, hang on a moment, that's not right. Okay, so yeah, let's start. Now, I'm not going to start with this one because I'm pretty aware that some of you last night did not have the coloured paper. Oh, actually, you know what? Because it's recorded, I will start off with this. So this is called drawing with scissors. So, all right. So your materials needed will be coloured paper, scissors, lead pencil, and glue. So you are going to select 3 pieces of paper in complementary colours. So that's, either red. So they're usually complementary colours are usually opposite on the colour spectrum. We go down here. They're opposites on the colour wheel. So as you can see, red and green go together, blue and orange, purple and yellow. Sorry, making you dizzy again. Okay, so make sure you have those materials. So in this activity, the connection to the curriculum for this activity is it's an introduction to the foundation skills of the elements of art. It would be best taught foundation year 2, but any level when you are teaching about complementary colours. I will say this though, actually, before we get into this, I will show you a little bit of a background of the visual arts, because we have elements in all of the arts. We have elements and conventions. In visual arts, we have the elements of color, line, texture, shape, and size. Hang on a moment. Sorry. Why is this not doing it? And I'll just take it. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Just take you back. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So we've got the elements. So if you look at this slide before we actually get in. So sorry about that. You'll have to hold off. So we've got the elements, and the elements are every creation contains these elements. So line, shape, form, color, value, texture, space. Okay, and size can be thrown in there too. So when we make things, and when the children make things, they use a combination of these to actually create a composition. Just like music, we have elements in music, and we create compositions by using in unison the conventions and the elements. And in the arts world, the visual arts world, we have got design principles of movement, pattern, unity, emphasis, rhythm, balance, and contrast, and of course the elements. So they work in unison, and they complement each other. So when we do use these, then we create a final composition and creation. So how we apply the principles are determined on it determines how successful our artwork is. And you know, the best artworks that I have ever done, because I am a exhibited and commissioned artist, have been the ones that I have created, and I've actually made mistakes. And when I'm teaching the children this, perfection is, you know, I think people get too stuck on perfection. So making mistakes within visual arts work, no one knows that it's a mistake. You know, your art is your art, and sometimes the best artworks that can be done are mistakes. And I think I know there's a lot of artists out there who will vouch for that. So we'll just go through these. So there's some visuals for you. Line can be used to create more complex shapes, of course, because a closed line is a shape. It can lead your eye, so it can create movement. It can create your eye to move from one area to the other. Lines can be vertical, of course, or horizontal, diagonal, curved, and we'll be exploring a little bit of line work later on. Shapes are created when lines are combined to form a square, triangle, circle. These are usually called regular shapes, but then we have irregular shapes too, which can be mainly found in nature. So irregular shapes could be like the flower, or you know, some leaves. So for example, you know, in early childhood, I love taking the children out on a nature walk to actually collect regular and irregular shapes within nature, and then we go back and draw those. Okay, and then we have form. So forms are three-dimensional shapes with length, width, and depth, of course. So these are balls, spheres, cylinders, boxes, pyramids, and as you can see, there is a connection to mathematics. So visual arts lends itself, or it can be integrated within maths, of course. Color, because we do look at perspective and distance work and measuring and counting, and you know, or very much some complex primary and early childhood math skills. So color can differentiate and define lines, shape, forms, and space. They can be complementary, harmonious, primary, secondary, tertiary, And we usually start off with the primary colours and that exploration of primary colours to make secondary colours within early childhood. And then we go on to tertiary. And then we go on to value. So creating colours that are dark, creating colours that are light by adding black or white. The primary colours are red, blue, and yellow. The secondary colours, of course, are orange, purple, and green. Lots and lots of different ways that I can show you next week when we do get into painting. So make sure you do have some watercolor paints and acrylic paints. I just do want to stress that don't get anything, expensive. Go to the reject shops or, Daiso or any of those cheap shops or get remnants from friends or whatever. Don't make your life too difficult and too expensive. Okay, so if you're never going to use them again, except for the classroom, then you don't want your paint to dry out, and you don't want to buy expensive paint that will dry out. So think about that. If you are intending to explore your creative side, though, please go to art shops. We've got Riot Art here in Queensland. I'm sure you've got them down south. Okay, value is the lightness or darkness of an object or color. Value can be used with colors as well as black and white. Contrast is the extreme changes, of course, and I'll show you a little bit of contrast as we get into the principles. Texture can be both visual and tactile. So as you can see in these examples here, we can see that these examples are, the clothing, for example, it looks spiky, probably isn't, but it does look spiky, it does look rough. But you can also see it. You can see it, and you could probably feel it too. That does have some sort of spikiness. This one, the cup and saucer, you can see the texture and you could feel the texture. So texture comes in, can be visible and tactile. You can draw texture, so to make it visible and give that illusion of it being quite tactile. Okay, and then we have space. So space is the area between and around objects, also known as negative space. Okay, so increasing the amount of space. We've got positive and negative spaces. Okay, and then we have the principles. So movement, pattern and rhythm, unity, contrast, balance, emphasis. Let's have a little look at these, because the elements work in unison, of course, with the principles. So movement, so lines can create movement, color can create movement. So it is a principle of design used to create the look and feeling of action. So, and to guide the viewer's eye from one point to another point within the artwork. It's up to the artist to direct those that movement. Okay, pattern and rhythm. Pattern is the repetition of an object, motive or symbol, and pattern, again, related to early childhood mathematics. Rhythm is created by careful placement of repeated elements, okay, in a work of art to cause a visual, a tempo or beat. It's very much like the music. So music, we use pattern and rhythm. Unity, a way of combining similar elements in an artwork. And as you can see with the cones here, the similar shapes are starting to change slightly. So we have got that unified form still. So it could be these gradual changes. So an accent, it accents similarities and it creates harmony. Okay, contrast. So as you can see in this first photo, we've got a contrast of black and white and the red. So the red is really emphasized. That apple is emphasized by that color on the black and white. So it is a way of combining elements to stress the differences between those elements, okay? This creates visual interest, excitement, and drama. So the different shapes can be a contrast within the art piece, Colors can be a contrast, space can be a contrast, you know, or really all the elements can have contrasting features. Emphasis, again, we've got a nice contrast here of black and white, but emphasis when one art area in a work of art stands out more than another. And of course, the red umbrella is standing out against the black umbrellas. Okay, and then we have balance, which is that equilibrium within a work of art. And it says here, a way of combining elements to add a feeling of equilibrium or stability. Balance can be symmetrical, it can be asymmetrical, it can be radial. In a symmetrical balance, the elements used on one side of the design are similar to the other. In asymmetrical balance, the sides are different, but they do look balanced against each other. And in radial, the elements are arranged in a central point, of course. So that gives you a little bit of background of the elements and principles, but I will be talking about these throughout the three tutorials that you're going to be involved in. The importance of drawing, of course, which we're going to tackle today. We're going to be looking at a few of those artworks there, but there's some nice little quotes here from Matisse, Klimt, Degas, Klee, Picasso. So you can have a look at those yourself. I like the one by Klimt though. Drawing is putting a line around your thoughts, of course. Picasso, to draw you must close your eyes and sing. And it really is, once you tap into your creative side, you will sing. Okay. Oh, let's have a look at the color theory chart, I should say, before we start getting into our cutting exercise. So primary colors here, this is not too good of a diagram here, but anyway, it will show you. Secondary colors, tertiary colors, we've got warm colors, so that spectrum of yellows and reds, oranges, so you can see on this side. And then you've got the cool color spectrum. Where are we? Cool colors, so those purples to green on that spectrum. You've got tints here, and what we're looking at today are the complementary colors. So as you can see, the opposites, okay? So red is opposite green, blue is opposite orange. You've got the purples opposite the yellows. So that's what I want you to tap into today. And then you've got the analogous colors, any three colors which are side by side on a 12-part color wheel. So a lot to get your head around, but yeah, do it in your own pace, okay? So if you need to, ask me questions, or you can, sorry, I'm making you dizzy again, or you can do your own investigation. So we're looking at this one first. So I'm going to go back to this. And I had started talking about the connections to the curriculum. The aims, so the aim is to implement their understanding of elements of art through collage, visual arts techniques, materials, processes, and technologies. Now, collage is sticking. So a collage, you will find great collage illustrations in any of the Eric Carle books, you know, like The Very Hungry Caterpillar. They're fantastic for introducing collage to children. Now, of course, in kindy, they have got collage tables where they are sticking and creating their own meaning making on their paper. Okay, so we're looking at the learning outcome or the content descriptor of ACAVAM 107. That's in the foundation to year 2. Use and experiment with different materials, techniques, technologies, processes in order to make artworks. And the students can observe and respond to the cutout works of Henri Matisse, with particular focus on his use of colour, space, organic shape in compositions. And I'll show you a Henri Matisse picture. Hopefully there's one down here. Let me see. Cross fingers there is. Yeah, here. Oh, go away, this thing. Yep. Okay. This is Henri Matisse's work. So beautiful beautiful space, beautiful use of shape. Have a look at this. This is it's sideways, but if you can get that up, it's Henry Matisse, the Egyptian curtain. You can have a look at all the beautiful shapes within, and he uses quite a lot of complementary colors within his works to bring that harmonious balance. You've got a lovely still life here. So a lot of his works include lots of different shapes, lots of use of the complementary color scheme. So if you did want to talk to the children about the use of different color schemes, then use Henry Matisse as a responding resource. Okay, so beautiful shapes within his work. And Henry Matisse used a lot of ink work, so he's got a lot of displayed ink work, so black and white, and then the use of color as you go on. Okay, so there is a responding activity there too, but we'll have a look at that later. So, okay, let's go on to this. So sorry, I'm flipping back and forth here. Okay, so using 2 pieces of paper, complementary colors, and I'm going to grab mine. Pink. And, oh no yellow. Hang on a moment. Oh, no orange. So anyway, what I want you to do is use your scissors. So I want you to just, cut out an organic shape. Okay, so I'll just, and we'll do this for a few of the complementary, you do it for all the complementary colors. So have a look at that chart again. And get your head around what the complementary colors are. Have a look at the different color wheels, of course. And if you are doing this within your classroom, which hope you do, get the children to actually create a collaged picture using different organic shapes, using regular shapes, so irregular shapes and regular shapes. Now that's simply a shape there, but what I might do is put my finished product. Actually, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to keep on cutting, and then I will come back with my final product. Okay, so you have a bit of an exploration too. Okay, now I found this, what are complementary colors on a website. This is the Spruce Crafts. So as you can see, if you do your own investigation too, it will get you up with what the complementary colors are. See my little picture in the background here? Sorry, it's a little bit skew. So I hope you have created. Maybe you could send them in or upload them to our discussion forum. Yeah, so I've used green and red, and of course, if you had the different paper, different colored papers on on your available to the children, then they can select their own complementary colors and then come up with a beautiful collage shape picture. So let's move on. Stop it. Okay, so our next our next exploration are Zentangles. So we are using the elements of line and shape, and we are using the principles of repetition, pattern, and balance. And the materials to be used are butcher's paper, lead pencils if you want to, but I prefer to use a black marker straight onto the page, and some paper. So with a black pen, create a different pattern within one of the spaces. So what you are doing, and I'll take this down, is getting you're going to place your black marker onto the page. My page is particularly big, so I'm just going to create a smaller square here for you to see. Hopefully you can see that. And then I am going to create curved lines. I'm going to make sure that I actually intertwine the lines here, so cross over, in order to create different shapes on the page. Just make sure you can see that. I'll bring it closer. Now, solely up to you what you are doing, but that's the start of my line exploration, so free-flowing lines. So I'm intersecting lines, I'm making them jagged, I'm making them curved, I'm making sure that I have actually got some spaces, so some different shapes. Now within those shapes, of course, I am going to create different patterns, and I am going to repeat the lines that I'm using. So repeated circles in here, and then finishing off with some hatched lines. So hatching is where we go, well, cross-hatching is where we are crossing the lines, but I'll show you some of those drawing techniques and styles in a moment. So I'm going to let you guys go and explore drawing some patterns using line and repetition within your different spaces. So happy exploring there. I'm going to pause and we'll come back together, and hopefully I would like you to upload some of your Zentangles to the discussion forum when you can. Doesn't have to be straight away, so don't feel stressed out or the need to do that, but it would be nice to have a look. But consider your use of lines, shapes, and repetition to create your patterns. How you can use, how can you use contrast between white and black spaces to create a sense of balance? Okay, and this is this exploration of those elements and principles, and of course the foci principle being balance. Okay, we don't want a totally chaotic picture. We want to have some sort of zen happening. Okay, welcome back. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll show you mine a bit closer up. Okay, so using lots and lots of space, shape, lines, heavy lines, thin lines, horizontal lines, diagonal lines, all sorts of lines. So let's move on to the next activity or the next challenge. Okay, so again, using materials, techniques, processes to explore visual conventions and making artworks. Now, on all these activities, you are going to see the connections to the Australian curriculum, so please go over that. We do talk about artful thinking, which I will show you where you can source artful thinking from, those strategies from. And these are the pedagogical approaches. So we have just used observation and describing, shapes, lines, colours, collaboration through exploration of line. So, and the visual arts lends itself to emotional and social development, as you would realise, because it is very much a social you know, it lends itself to social interaction within the classroom. Further resources are always included in these slides also. So if you have a look, and I'll just make sure this is, yep, it is. You can see that the Tate Gallery, you can have a look at optical art within that. And Esh's work is always really good to get the children to respond to. But there's a lot of optical art in that you can source from the UK Kids Tate Resource Centre at the Tate Gallery. Okay, let's move on to nature frottage. Let's first have a look at the connection to the curriculum. So we're looking at the elements of colour, shape, and texture. So the curriculum connections again is this activity is foundational skills of the elements of art. It would be best suited to foundation to year 2, but again included in upper primary in their composition. So creating a tree, which getting the bark of a tree and actually rubbing over, making a frottage on that actual drawing of the tree. Students in this stage explore ways to use and apply visual conventions such as shape, colour, and space. The aim is to implement their understanding of the elements of art through frottage. Learning outcomes, again, it's 107, ACOVAM 107 on the Australian curriculum, use and experiment with different materials, techniques, technologies, and processes. The students are responding to their observations, and you can connect it to John Wolseley's land artworks, which is down. This is him in action. So he actually does a lot of frottage, and he actually does a lot of sfumato, depth of field exploration. Sorry about that. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied there. Okay, so you could, I love getting the children out and about on nature walks, and I get them to do their frottage, exploring the natural essence around them. But I have got, where did I put them? Some texture rubbing mats, sorry. For example, you can purchase these. So these are texture rubbing mats. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to use. You, on the other hand, can get yourselves outside and get some leaves and things like that. Now, I love to get the children to explore leaf frottage, because their perception of a leaf is only the shape. But when you really get into the depths of a leaf, it is a lot more intricate than that. So there's a lot of veins, when you're exploring photosynthesis, the photosynthesis, the living plant, although it's a dead leaf, it has still got those beautiful line marking, like butterflies. If you look at butterflies under a microscope, you see the beautiful lines and the beautiful different textures that the children can explore and draw. So it comes back to those observational drawing techniques, so that perception versus reality. So frottage, or texture rubbing, is simply rubbing over with a crayon or pencil, rubbing over the textured surface. Now, hopefully, let me see, where's my pencil? Oh, yep. Okay, so I'm just going to stand up and do this. All right, so you get your pencil or your crayon and rub over the textured surface. So bricks, anything with the textured surface. So this is quite a nice textured plate full of leaves. But like I said, I love getting the children out and about on a texture finding mission and out into nature. And as you can see, we have got that. Now, you probably remember way back when you were in primary school doing a texture rubbing over coins in mathematics. So over an old 20-cent piece, and then getting the impression onto a piece of paper. Exactly the same, okay? Now, the pedagogical approaches, artful thinking, observing and describing, the elaboration game, 8 ways of Indigenous thinking and land links, okay? And again, you've got those further resources there. So stories, scientific, poetic and scientific, John, response to John Wolesley, the artist. Okay, so very physical and kinetic contact to document the earth and consider ways in which life dwells and moves within the landscape. That's what his artwork entails. Very beautiful natural printing. Can I just say, can you keep these texture rubbings, because I want you to use them in a further exploration in the next couple of weeks. So keep everything we do in a nice little file, and gather as much texture rubbings as you can, and frottage, explore frottage, and then we will use those, because I want you to actually explore collage, being inspired by Eric Carle, and the author of The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Okay, so a few pictures there, which we will come back to, a few artists in action. Now, this one is sfumato. It's a Italian word. It is the projection of it is observational drawing. That's the key. Now, all the drawings that we have been doing today, or all the explorations, have been observational. So it does mean, this word does mean evaporate like smoke in Italian. So if we have any Italians out there, then you'd know that that's what the meaning is. As objects fade lightly into the background, they appear further away. Okay, so just like perspective, when we are driving up to a mountain range and we can see the mountains, getting lighter and lighter in the distance, we have the darker ones in the foreground, and then the ones in the distance are getting lighter and lighter, and that's perspective. Okay, but this, I would like you to, a moment, I hope I am okay. I am still recording. I'd like you to explore that. So go out to or gather some things from nature again, such as these examples, and draw, heavy inked in the forefront, heavy inked objects in the forefront, and light objects in the background. Okay, I'll leave you with that one, and we can come back to that. And that's just a little bit of an experiment there. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause, and I'll see you soon. Okay, I hope you went well with that one. The next one is eraser drawing. So using an eraser. Well, actually, what you have to do first is you either get your charcoal or you get your paper, and you use a pencil. I'll just use this. And what you are doing is you are colouring in just with a soft either black pencil or charcoal if you have that on hand, and you're using your eraser as your drawing tool. So you're actually drawing with your eraser. I've got this sort of eraser, but the electric razors are really good. You can buy them from Daiso for like $2, and you can buy them online when you are teaching, so from any art supplies place. But as you can see, you're lifting the space. Okay, so with the eraser. So that's just another technique that you can use. I've drawn a face here just by lifting my charcoal from my page with the eraser. Okay, and then just and you can add, of course, and subtract and add and subtract and add and subtract. Have a little go at that, shade the paper, and then use an eraser to draw, okay? It says the little blurb here, creating and using the full range of, full range of grayscale, adds depth to the drawing, so that tonal change. And the beauty of the project is its simplicity, because you know, the kids color in their page with the charcoal or with the pencil, and then they're lifting it with the eraser. So you've got the entire gamut of different tones that you can do, you know, in that grey and grey scale. So shade the background with the edge of some compressed charcoal, or again, pencil. Use an eraser to draw your object. Once complete, use a charcoal pencil to add the detail, okay? So you're really concentrating on the form first, and then you add the detail, okay? Now, I'll let you do that in your own time. And we'll move on. So you can pause me there and experiment yourselves and then come back. Now, drawing using varied marks. So we have got cross hatching. So cross hatching, and I'm just going to do it here, is exactly what it says. Cross those lines. Okay, now the closer the lines are, I'll just get that down and show you. Closer the lines are, the heavier the lines are, it's the more the darkness is going to be created. The further away the lines and the lighter the lines, of course, lightness is going to be produced. Now have a look, you know, I'll let you have a look at this in your own time too. So you've got wood effect, diagonal lines, circular scribbles, alternating lines, varying widths. So the exercise is for you to actually create so some varied marks, okay, just like this. So I would like you to create I guess a sample page of different mark making. Now, when you actually use these, and I'll draw a little just a simple little face here. Just quick. Sorry, not too good. When you use your lines, sorry, can you see? You can use cross hatching to actually create the tone. So the tone of the face, and just using different lines. Okay. You can use a scribbly technique to add more. You can use hatching, which is just one line. Depends on how much tone you want to add. So just simply using different line markings. So have a go at that in your own time. Make up a grid and then maybe draw your portrait, okay? And then go on. There's some tiny drawings there. So have an exploration of the different things within this, within these slides. I will finish up soon because this is quite a long tutorial. Yeah, there's a whole lot of different things that you can explore. Gestural drawing, which focuses on quick movements. Just like I did the face there, just really quick, doesn't focus on detail as much, but just gets that form down so you actually can make out that, you know, you using that free form line drawing. So not so much a focus on detail, but a focus on that exploration of line, okay? So that real freedom of so as you can see, yeah, real freedom of line there, okay? Not so much detail. Oh, should show you. Hang on. That's what I've just come up with there. That's the little bit of a gesture drawing there. In our tutorial last night, we actually explored continuous line drawing, which I will produce another little video for you guys. Actually, maybe I'll just do it now. Okay, so continuous line, this exercise, you need 2 people or you need a mirror, okay? So with continuous line, it's one continuous line. You are not lifting up your pen at all. So you are not allowed to lift your pen. You have to keep that one continuous line going. So when you are creating a face, and I'll just do it here. I'll do it on the pink. All right, so you are not lifting your pen. So you need to first off get a focal point on the face. So I usually start with the nose and then I work up. I go to the eyebrows. See how I'm not lifting my pen at all? And I am going over the line. So it's a real beautiful gestural drawing, not so much you know, working on detail, although it is part of observational drawing. So the kids are, or the children are observing the form of the face and the shapes within that face. Now, hopefully you can see this, but so I'm still going one continuous line. Haven't lifted my pen off the page as yet. Still going up. All right. Pretty messy hair. Now I'm not doing this in a mirror or anything, or you know, so it's quite easy doing this without a person. Now it's not going to be the exact same as the person in front of you, whether it be yourself or whether it be you know, one of your children or your husband or your partner or whoever, you know, that then it's not going to be the same. So that's one continuous line. So I'm going to stop there. I didn't lift my pen at all. So that's called continuous line drawing. That's what I came up with, one continuous line. Now, if I was to get a piece of string, go over that and measure that, that would probably go from here to down to ACU's oval down the back there. So one continuous string. Now, another one I did last night was blind continuous drawing, which means you cannot look down at your page. Now, I'll draw one just on the page here. I'm using one continuous line. I'm going to keep on looking at you guys, and I'm not going to look down at the paper at all. And I'll show you what I come up with, okay? So not looking down. Oh, in my... So it is this is a really good exercise for children, and it's a fun exercise because they think it is the funniest thing when what their output might be. They're looking at the face of their partner in front of them, so they have to sit totally opposite each other. They have to both do it at the same time so they don't look down at the piece of paper. And then it's really that exploration of observation, shape, line, okay? And it's got to be one continuous line, so they can't actually lift their pen and they can't look down at the page. So that's what I came up with. I don't know if you can see it. So they're really nice gestural drawing. You can sort of make out an eye. You can sort of make out a mouth. Have a go at that too. So grab your partner, tell them to, you know, in the kitchen, tell them to sit opposite you so you draw. Use the blind continuous line technique, use the continuous line technique and have fun. Have fun with portraiture and experiment with those elements. So line, shape, texture. You know, within this, I could then do some cross-hatching, you know, and add some tone into those pieces. So I just want to say a big thank you for you having a look at this recording. I hope you got an insight into the visual arts, this first stage, so our first tutorial. I'm happy for you to send me, you know, queries, questions via email. We'll meet again at 5:30 next week. If you are late, you are late to the tutorial. If you cannot make it, then, you know, the recording is going to be there. So I would hope you have a look at that recording. I will hyperlink the recording onto the Leo site under the online tile, it will take you to YouTube, because my videos seem to be quite long. So I like to put them up to you on YouTube instead of straight onto the ACU site. So that will be hyperlinked up there. But all the best, and I will see you next week. So happy creating. Make sure you go through these tutorials, the rest of the tutorials, have a good look at what we are looking at observationally and drawing wise, and have fun experimenting, and make sure you're filling up your those diaries, you know, your papers, and keep all your papers. And if you can upload some of your work to the discussion forum, then that would be fantastic. So goodbye for now, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. See you.